Hi everyone, I'm back for part 3 of Isaiah, where I'm looking at verses where it talks about the second Exodus and maybe some that talks about the Battle of Gog of Magog. This is the events that must shortly come to pass. If we take on the times that's gone past up to now, it's not a long time left, because more than 7,000 years has gone past now. And we are in the 8th day of the Bible that the Bible talks about. And yes, that's the period we are in, and the Bible says in Revelation 20 that it's a short season. So it's not going to be 1,000 years. We'll see how long that will be. But I'm going to continue in Isaiah. We're going to look at verses that talks about the second Exodus possibly. This is my interpretations of these verses. Please remember that my second language is English. I'm actually Afrikaans. And let's start with verse 8. But you, Israel, my servant, Jacob, whom I have chosen, the offspring of Abraham, who I have loved. Remember that Yahweh said in Genesis 26 verse 5 that Abraham kept Yahweh's commandments, and it was reckoned, his faith was reckoned to him as righteousness. But in the same few verses it says that he kept Yahweh's commandments. So part of faith is to obey the law, the instructions of Yahuwah. By doing that you show that you have faith, that you believe in him, and that you love him. And that's why Yahuwah also loved Abraham, because Abraham showed that he loved Yahuwah by obeying his instructions. That is why we read in Matthew 24 verse 13 that because of, I think it's verse 12, but because of lawlessness the love of many will grow cold. So if you don't obey Yahuwah's commandments, your love will go down, actually. It will decrease. But if you keep Yahweh's commands, your love will increase. You whom I took hold of from the ends of the earth, and I called you from its mountain peaks, and I said to you, you are my servant. I have chosen you and not forsaken you. This already starts to refer to the second Exodus process, where Yahuwah will bring a remnant of Israelites to one place from across the earth. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not wander off, for I am your Elohim, who has strengthened you, and I have helped you, and I have made you secure with my righteous right hand. Yahuwah will be their protection when he gathers them in one place. That's why the nations won't just be able to attack them anymore. When true Israelites has been established in that one spot, they were going to gather first in South Africa, and that's why the nations won't bother attacking, because they will know that Yahuwah is protecting them. See, all who oppose you shall be ashamed and disgraced, for they shall be as though they were not, and all your adversaries shall perish. The final battle is where the last of these adversaries will perish, the battle of Gog of Magog, when they surround the Saints area, which is the bottom part of Africa. The Gog of Magog will be prideful in his heart, and Yahuwah will place it in his heart the desire to attack the remnant of Yahuwah, so that Yahuwah can destroy them all with fire. Verse 12, you shall seek them, but you shall not find them. Find the men who shall treat you violently. At the moment, like I said before, the true Israelites worldwide are being trampled on. They are being disgraced and attacked on many levels, physically and morally. For they shall be as though they were not, and those who war against you shall not be. What came up in my mind when I read this is Matthew 13, verse 41-42. The Son of Man will send out his angels, and they will weed out of his kingdom every cause of sin and all who practice lawlessness, and they will throw them into the fiery furnace, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Again, very clear here, Yahushua says that those who don't obey Yahuwah's commandments goes to hell. Verse 13, because I am your Elohim, who holds your right hand, who says to you, do not fear, O Jacob, O small Israel. They will be small, because only a remnant of them will gather. I have helped you, says Yahuwah, who redeems you, O Israel. This for me talks about the second Exodus, when Yahuwah gathers again from all the nations, Israel, Jacob, into one place in South Africa, and later on they will be allowed to move into the original Israel territory in the bottom part of Africa, just above the equator. Isaiah 44. Israel is saved by Yahuwah with an everlasting salvation. They shall not be ashamed nor confounded forevermore. I found with this verse that there are some people that think that every person who were born Israelite, I'm not talking about the Edomites in Palestine, real Israelites who descend from physically from Abraham. Those people, they think that this means that they'll just be saved, all of them. They don't have to do anything really. They're just going to be saved because they are descendants of Abraham. But this is contrary, of course, to what Yahuwah and what Yahushua taught us. Matthew 19:17, the guy asked him what he must do to be saved, and Yahushua told him he must keep Yahuwah's commandments. And in John 15 verse 10 again, Yahushua says that just as he loves the Father and kept his commandments, so we must also love him and keep his commandments. In a nutshell, he is saying that we must keep the Father's commandments. John 14 verse 15 again. Yahoo comments, I just wanted to read this one for you. If you love me, keep my commandments. Again, Yahushua says that if we love him, we will keep the commandments. So, I don't think this refers to that type of salvation, the salvation of the soul, but more probably a physical salvation on earth for the Israelites and their descendants after the second Exodus, that Yahuwah will perpetually protect and be their protection on earth. Isaiah 49. Hear me, O islands, pay attention, O nations. After a long time it shall stand, says Yahuwah. From my mother's womb he called my name, and made my mouth like a sharp dagger, and under the shelter of his hand he hid me. He made me like a chosen arrow, and in his quiver he sheltered me. And he said to me, You are my servant, Israel, and in you I will be glorified. So we see all these verses mentions this person. Yahweh knew them from the start who they are, and they are his nation, his set apart nation, Israel. And he said to me, You are my servant. But I said, I have labored vainly, and I have given my strength in vain and for nothing. Therefore my judgment is with Yahuwah, and my toil before Elohim. If I just, I'm thinking about what happened in South Africa, for instance, when the British, after they killed those babies and children and so forth, and they started stealing all the gold out of South Africa. They're still doing it today, America and England. And it's like you labored in vain, because after that South Africa got their independence, and they fought many wars for South Africa against the communists and Russian-backed communists in middle of Africa. So, and they won those wars, and some of our soldiers died. And when looking back now, you feel like they've died in vain because the country was given to the communists anyway in the end, with the help of America and England, of course. They've been stabbed in the back, the white South Africans. They've given their blood and tears and sweat for the country, and they were just sold out. And the country was sold out underneath them, and that's sad. And so that's what I thought of when I heard these words, that they labored vainly. And I have given my strength in vain and for nothing. Therefore my judgment is with Yahuwah, and my toil before my Elohim. And now thus says Yahuwah, who formed me from the womb, to be his own servant, to gather Jacob and Israel to him. Here he says that this is talking about the second Exodus, where Yahuwah will gather Israel back to him in South Africa. I will be gathered and glorified before Yahuwah, and my Elohim shall become my strength. And he said to me, it is a great thing for you to be called my servant, so that you may set up the tribes of Jacob, and turn back the dispersion of Israel. Again, the tribes of Jacob will come together, the dispersion of Israel will be no more, they will come together. See, I have made you a light of nations, that you may be for salvation to the ends of the earth. Here, like I said before, that we will be a light for nations. We won't be like the lawless nations that oppress others. We will show the love of Yahuwah to the nations, and His light will shine out of us. And the nations will see the light of Yahuwah in our hearts. As we obey His commands, we will love our fellow man as we love Yahuwah. And the people will see it, and we will be a blessing to other nations. Thus says Yahuwah, who delivered you, Elohim of Israel, sanctify him who despises his own soul. He's talking here about the Israelites who are humble and contrite before Yahuwah, who is abhorred by the nations. And the nations reject the true Israelites. The nations hate the true Israelites today, because they are driven by Satan to hate the true Israelites. So you can think for yourself now, which race of people worldwide is drawing the short straw, so to speak, at the moment? Who are they vilifying today and saying bad things about? You will understand if you look at what's happening across the world today, especially in the Western world, in the Western countries, what they are saying about white males, for instance. And that reminds me of this verse, or rather this verse reminds me of what's happening now, how the world says that it's bad to be white. And yes, being white, some of them believe being white makes you automatically racist and so forth. The servants of rulers, king shall see him. Okay, let's start here. Sanctify him who despises his own soul, who is abhorred by the nations. Abhorred by the nation also reminds me of what happened to South Africa when the world rejected them during the so-called apartheid, which of course Britain implemented the apartheid laws because they won the war. But anyway, they had sanctions against South Africa, and everybody, we couldn't do anything across in other countries, especially like sports and so on. We were not allowed to take part in anything, and yes, most of, if not everything, we had to make ourselves in South Africa. And we still were blessed. We weren't suffering then, even though the other Israel nations stabbed us in the back and put sanctions on us. So we were abhorred by the nations, and some all still abhors us today. Servants of rulers, kings shall see him, and rulers shall stand up and do obeisance to him for Yahuwah's sake, because the Holy One of Israel is faithful, and I have chosen you. Yes, so nations will pay respect to the Israelites that will come together in the end. They will pay respect, even though now today they vilify and speak evil of these Israelites worldwide. And I was thinking of this, Zechariah 8 verse 23, that says, Thus saith Yahuwah Almighty, in those days my words shall be fulfilled in 10 men of all the languages of the nations should take hold, even take hold of the hem of a Yehudim, of those of Judah, or Israelite, not Jew, Israelite or Yehudim, saying, We will go with thee, we will go with you, for we have heard that Yahuwah is with you. So the people will see that Yahuwah is with these people, and they will desire that too. Thus says Yahuwah, in an acceptable time I have listened to you, on a day of salvation I have helped you, I gave you as a covenant to nations, to establish the land, and to inherit a wilderness heritage, saying to those who are in bonds, Come out, and to those who are in darkness, that they be revealed, and they shall feed in all their ways, in all the paths shall be their pasture. They shall not hunger or thirst, neither shall burning heat nor sun strike them down. But he who has mercy on them will comfort them, and through springs of water will lead them. And I will turn every mountain into a road, and every path into a pasture for them. See, Yahuwah will bless them again because they turned back to him and obey him and got rid of their idols. Lo, these come from far away, these from the north and these from the sea, but others from the land of the Persians. To see, they will come from all over the place. Rejoice, O heavens, and let the earth be glad. Let the mountains break forth with joy. Band the hills with righteousness, because Yahweh has had mercy on his people, and he has comforted the humble of his people. As I mentioned earlier, it's the humble that Yahweh will glorify, those who abhor their own souls. But Zion said, Yahuwah has forsaken me, Yahuwah has forgotten me. Will a mother forget her child so as not to have mercy on him, on the descendants of her womb? But even if a woman should forget these, yet I will not forget you, says Yahuwah. See, I have painted your walls on my hands, and you are continually before me. This, I believe, means that Yahuwah is their protection. He's like walls. His hands are like walls around them. He's protecting them. And soon you will be bought by those by whom you were destroyed, and those who made you desolate will go forth from you. Lift up your eyes all around and see them all. Look, they have gathered and have come to you. I live, says Yahuwah. You shall clothe yourselves with all of them and put them on like a bride's ornament. The nations will be afraid of Israel in the future, subservient to them, honor them, pay obeisance, as the previous verse said. Because your desolate and spoiled and ruined places will now be crowded on account of your inhabitants, and those who swallow you up will be far away from you. For your sons whom you have lost will say in your ears, the place is too narrow for me. Make a place for me so that I may settle. You see, this, I believe, refers to South Africa will be too small for all those people that will flee to them. All those white Israelites that will flee to South Africa. It's going to get too small. And this is what they will say. Make a place for me so that I may settle. Then you will say in your heart, who has begotten me these? But I was childless and a widow. So who has reared these for me? But I was left all alone, so from where have these come to me? So those South Africa would say, where did all these people come from? They're not South Africans. They come from all over the world. They are like us, they are our brethren, but they are not from us. They are from other countries. They will basically have one heart and one mind. These people from all over, they will think very similar to people from other countries that also keep the commandments. That's what I found before, that Yahuwah reveals his things no matter where you are, no matter what country you are. He can reveal the same stuff to everybody, to the same stuff to different people in different countries, and they can meet each other online and chat away because they have the same views on most stuff. But it's all to do with your spirit revealing the same stuff to the people. But I was childless and a widow. Okay, verse 22. Thus says Yahuwah, look, I am lifting up my hand to the nations, and I will lift my signal to the islands, and they shall bring your sons in their bosom, and your daughters shall be they lift on their shoulders. You see, the nations will release or help some of these Israelites to get to South Africa, to get to where they need to go. And kings shall be your foster fathers, and the women who rule your nurses. On the face of the earth they shall do obeisance to you, and they shall lick the dust on your feet. Then you will know that I am Yahuwah, and you shall not be put to shame. I said here, Israel found favor in the eyes of the Egyptians when they left Egypt, and they received gifts from them when they left. It would be a similar thing. Yahuwah will put it in the nation's hearts to bless these Israelites that goes to South Africa or goes to with the second Exodus that leaves. It will put in their hearts to be a blessing to them and help them where they can. And I've experienced this before in my life, and it is just it's a miracle, really. Um, yeah, where Yahweh helped me when my car broke down on the highway once in a storm, and a bunch of guys got out of their cars and came and helped me to get my car sorted. Like 5, 6 different people from different cars, and I was so shocked. I couldn't believe it. But Yahweh placed it in their hearts to help me and He favored me, and I think that was wonderful. I didn't expect that. And let's see where were we. Okay, Isaiah 51. I think I'm just gonna finish this one. Yes, let's do this. I'll do a part 4 because there's so many in Isaiah talking about the second Exodus, or that can refer to that. Hearken to me, ye that follow after righteousness and seek Yahuwah. Look to the solid rock which ye have hewn, and to the hole of the pit which you have dug. Look to Abraham your father, and to Sarah that bore you, for he was alone. Here we already see he's talking about Israel. For he was alone when I called him, and blessed him, and loved him, and multiplied him. And now I will comfort you, O Zion. And when Yahweh refers to Zion, he refers to Israel. And I have comforted all her desert places. The desert places will be fruitful again. The water will come out of the ground again like before. In Africa, the fountains of the deep will spring up and water all the areas again. And I will make her desert places as a garden, and her western places as the garden of Yahuwah. They shall find in her gladness and exaltation, thanksgiving and a voice of praise. Her western places, if you think of the western side of Africa, it's the driest side. Even in the southwestern side, you have your Kalahari Desert there, you've got Namibia. It's quite dry, all those areas up there along the coast. And then you have, of course, the Sahara Desert, which is northwest. It's more also central, but going to the western side of the north. It's also very dry there. So it's interesting when he says western places will become like a garden again. Hear me, my people, and you kings. Hearken to me, for a law shall proceed from me, and my judgment shall be for a light of the nations. My righteousness speedily draws near, and my salvation shall go forth as light. And on my arm shall the Gentiles trust, the isles shall wait for me, and on my arm shall they trust. Lift up your eyes. And I have to think of it says, for my arm shall they trust. When you look at Yahuwah's name, the letters and the meaning of these letters, it says hand behold, nail behold. That's what it means in Hebrew. But it shows the right arm, which refers also to Yahushua. That's what I wanted to say. The right arm of Yahuwah can also refer to Yahushua. And on my arm shall they trust. They will trust in Yahushua. Lift up your eyes to the sky and look on the earth beneath, for the sky was darkened like smoke, and the earth shall wax old like a garment, and the inhabitants shall die in like manner, but my righteousness shall not fail. Yahuwah's law is eternal, because Yahuwah is eternal. Hear me, you that know judgment, the people in whose heart is my law. Hear not the reproach of men, and be not overcome by their contempt. Even though the world hates you, Israelites, if you keep the commandments, you are in Yahuwah's good books. That's all that matters. All that matters is what Yahuwah thinks of you, not what men think of you. For as a garment will be devoured by time, and as wool be devoured by a moth, so shall they be consumed. These people that hate true Israel will be consumed. But my righteousness shall be forever, my salvation for all generations of those who keep his laws. This is what I added. And my salvation for all generations of Israel, of those who keep his laws. Awake, awake, O Jerusalem, and put on the strength of thy arm, and awake as in the early time, as the ancient generation. The ancient generations of Israel did the first Exodus, and this is referring to the second Exodus. Are you not in that dried? What? Art thou not it that dried the sea, the water, even the abundance of the deep, that made the depths of the sea a way of passage for the delivered and the redeemed? For by the help of Yahuwah they shall return, and come to Zion with joy and everlasting exaltation. Again referring to the second Exodus, they will come to Zion, the mountain of Yahuwah, which is in the middle of Africa. Or you could say, which is in the middle to bottom part of Africa. For praise and joy shall come upon their head. Pain and grief and groaning have fled away. Even I am he that comforts you. Consider who you are, that you were afraid of the mortal man, and of the Son of Man, who are withered as grass. Just as they were afraid of before during their lives in these different countries. They won't bother about that anymore when they are gathered together. They won't think about that even anymore, of those people who oppressed them. And you have forgotten Elohim who made you, who made the sky and founded the earth. And you were continually afraid because of the wrath of him that afflicted you. For whereas he counseled to take you away, you now where is the wrath of him that afflicted you? For whereas he counseled to take you away, yet now where is the wrath of him that afflicted you? Yahweh says he removed the wrath of the people or whoever afflicted the Israelites before. They are not there anymore, they don't exist anymore. For in thy deliverance he shall not halt, nor tarry, for I am your Elohim, that troubles the sea, that causes the waves thereof to roar. Yahweh of hosts is my name. I will put my words into your mouth, and I will shelter you under the shadow of my hand, with which I fixed the sky. He fixed the dome with his hands, and founded the earth. And Yahweh shall say to Zion, you are my people. To Israel, you are my people. Just as he promised to Abraham, he will fulfill it in the end, on the 8th day, because it's an everlasting covenant that he made with Abraham. And that's why he will fulfill what he promised him in the 8th day. That's why he will gather his Israel again in the original Canaan area. The area that Canaan stole from Shem. And yes, I'm going to read up to here. For interest's sake, I wanted to show you guys, girls, the size of the new Jerusalem. I looked it up earlier, and just to give you an idea of how big it is, according to Revelation 21, this block here, that's the size of the city, Jerusalem. It's 2,200 by kilometers in length and breadth and width. In height and length and breadth, it is 2,200 kilometers, and that's this size. Now you have people that think Yahweh's going to place that in this little area here. I don't think so. But that's to say, if Yahweh is going to place the New Jerusalem on a continent in our area, because it can be just outside the ring of our Earth, because there's extra lands on the other side of the Antarctic. Because the Earth is, of course, is level, and I don't know if I'm going to get a flat Earth map now to give you an idea. But yes, New Jerusalem can be just outside that area and remain there. It's not to say that it's going to be placed inside the Antarctic ring. Let's see what comes out, if anything. You see here. Oops. Yeah, the Antarctic around. Like I said, I believe there's extra land outside this ring, and the New Jerusalem might be there and stay there, and this ring might be opened up in the future so that people can go to the New Jerusalem, or you can just bring it in and place it somewhere on one of the continents. But I believe it would be on Africa. The reason being, in a previous video I showed that Yahweh will reign from Africa according to scripture. watch that video. I've done a video on it, and it says there from sea to sea, from the west to east sea, and from the Nile River to the end of the land, which is the South Sea here. That's what those verses says, where Yahweh will reign and rule from. So it makes sense that the New Jerusalem will also be placed here in Africa then. And just to give you an idea of the size of it, it's massive. Okay, enjoy your day, and we'll do a part 4 next time. Bye.